2.1 KFMA, Oro Valley, Tucson, an Arizona Lotus Corporation radio station. Stream us on your cell, laptop, desktop, or tablet at KFMA.com. You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right. No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live in Rockland 2.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide, KFMA.com.
Are we on NPR now?
No, it's the day after St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, okay.
We got a lot of listeners out there that probably drank a lot of green beer, right? They're going to be super hungover.
Yes.
And I don't want to irritate them too much. You know, we'll give them a little time to let their ears and their brains like kind of warm up and get over the queasiness. Maybe get a breakfast burrito in them.
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll get all crazy and back to the business as usual. But yeah, happy post St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Good morning, Weirdo.
Good morning.
Good morning, Tucson. Okay, so yes, it was big weekend. I hope you guys had fun. A beautiful weekend. Now that we got past St. Patrick's Day, winter has arrived. That's nice. You know, super cold. And I hope you guys had a fun time. You know, Weirdo, ask me if I'm Irish.
Are you Irish?
Irish. Did I do that joke to you on Thursday? Whatever? No, I didn't. Okay, so I've been saying that joke all week long. And I even did it at the Roadrunners game yesterday because I can't help myself, dude. And yes, I get it. I am in dad joke mode where I just, like, for whatever reason, that stupid joke has brought me so much joy this weekend where I literally have tears in my eyes right now. I'm just like, I said it up probably like a half dozen times at the very least. To different friends that I work with. And I even, like I said, the pregame for the Roadrunners, you know, I had Yaz ask me this in front of the crowd. And I did that to like an audience of crickets. I don't know if they got it, but inside the internal joy that I get from such a stupid joke is indescribable.
It is the simple things in life, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It got me high. You know, and which is good because I'm not currently high. I need to get high off my own jokes. And there's a lot of reasons why I'm not high. You know, first and foremost, I'm responsible.
That's good.
But this weekend, you know, was for the Roadrunners games before Saturday night's game was the annual police department versus the fire department hockey game. Right. And they take this very seriously. Right. So a lot of people came out for this to see our, Tucson Unified Police Department go up against firefighters from all over the city and face off in a game of hockey. And like I said, they go all out. And usually, just like it happened this year, the fire department blows out the police department.
Okay.
There's speculation that they got a ringer or two on the squad. There's also speculation that these guys got a pretty lax schedule, so they have a lot of time to practice hockey. So they whooped up on the police department. Why is this an issue? Well, later on in the game, I do my sing-along segment, right? Yeah. And in honor of the firefighters winning the game, we had the crowd sing along to Johnny Cash's Ring of Fire. Yeah, it's appropriate, right?
Yeah.
It was either that or, Bad Boys by Hot Step or what, Bad Boys, what you gonna do? Which that would have been a dope ass song to sing too. But unfortunately, the cops lost the game.
Yeah.
Right. So the bonus reward was, hey, we'll play the song that, we played over and over again every time the fire department scored a goal. And unfortunately, I didn't even think in the foresight, like, the big picture, that this would irritate the police officers there who had to hear that song over and over again when they were upset that the opposing team scored on them. So I had a police officer like basically threaten me, like, you better not speed the work. He's like, I know you drive down Prince, you better not. And I'm like, I didn't make the call. It was my call. But I'm like, I don't drive down Prince. I drive down Prince. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, younger me would be like essing bricks, right? Full blown. But I don't ride dirty anymore. Adult, mature me, ever since they legalized weed, like the only criminal thing I would ever do is potentially have weed on me. Now having weed on me is almost like having chapstick on me.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
Right. It's legal.
It's legal. It's legit. You know, so I get pulled over. I can get some BS, speeding ticket, which I'm still afraid of. So I did drive 15 miles an hour into work today. Took me 2 hours, but but at the same time, my like weed pen that I forget to take out of my pocket is not a concern. So I'm not nervous while I'm driving 15 miles an hour down the street. And I want to thank our police officers and fire department out there for not only your service, but for, listening to the show and for not pulling me over on the way to work. I do appreciate that.
A super attempt to locate signal on you now.
I mean, I'm easy to find. I really am. Basically, just pull over the car that has the beef license plate. That's me. There you go. You busted me. I got a vanity plate that says beef. You guys seen it. I get a message about that vanity plate once every 2 months. Hey, is this your truck? So shout out to whoever's driving that car as well. You are the decoy that is allowing me to get into work on time every morning. All right, we have a great show and week lined up for you. I have a concert announcement that I'm going to be making later today. I still have leftover tickets to give away from last week that I didn't get to, including Five Finger Death Punch and Stained and with Breaking Ben. What time can I make this announcement? 7:10. I'm going to make this announcement. Pretty cool announcement. You guys are pretty stoked on that one. Arizona Financial Theater is where that's going to be. And then Dimitri Martin tickets as well for you comedy fans out there. He's going to be performing at the Fox Theater.
Nice.
So lots of listener bait, lots of great content. We're just scratching the surface. So stick around. And the phone lines are open if you want to give us a shout. 600 KFMA, 600-5362. We'll kick things off with Skillet on Rock 102.1. This is Monster. You know the name of the show. Let's go. And happy hangover day. Yeah, look at that. That's how we started off the show today. Nice and ASMR-y, if you will. Shout out to Mari, actually. She's in Japan. I should send her an invite to see if she'll pop in the stream.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. I'll do that right now. And we have a lot of things to get to. And thank you guys for joining us. And thank you guys for watching the stream on Friday. I know that some of you were complaining that it wasn't technically a live stream, but it was the full conversation that we had with TJ Miller, which we vibed on. We had a really good time with TJ and talked with him for over an hour and a half when we were only supposed to talk to him for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And we were the last radio interview.
Yeah.
56 in 2 days.
And that was done and booked on purpose. So Alan is the publicist who set me up with that interview. And Alan has always worked with me over the years. And I appreciate him a lot on this. And he knows the way that I do it is different than literally every other radio station in the nation.
Right.
Which is odd to me because it's like, come on, guys, get with the program. And TJ even pointed that out. Like, no, this is different and fun. Because of these various reasons. And it's like a podcast. Yeah, that's what people are listening to. And let's equate. Let's put both together. Morning shows are podcasts in a digestible form that you can listen to in your car. That's the concept. And
right. And I imagine him as a comedian, when he gets to be long form, like he's so much better. The pressure's off of like, okay, I have 7 minutes to try to get as many jokes in as I can.
Yeah.
And it's just a conversation, natural and way better.
Yes. And that's what they do. They end up cramming in their bit material and stuff. And this is situation as a broadcaster, I'll let them go forever because I'm like, cool. It's like a mental day off. It made the show super easy to produce because I'm just like, here's TJ and go. And then just sit back. Right. Now, I know that you've probably been seeing video clips. And of course, I've been making video clips. I'll still do more clips of TJ, shorts, and a couple of little chunks from the interview. I have to catch up on some video editing. And, that's been part of the deal that I've been working with. And I've been, I ask, I get video help from Weirdo and Rico sometimes, but Rico works best when he's inspired. So I can't ask him for anything. I can ask him for some stuff. Let's be fair. And he does a good job. But when it comes to the video editing, he'll always give me something far and beyond if I don't ask him, if he feels inspired. So he sent me this clip, and you might have seen it if you follow Rico on Instagram, which is just a fucking fever dream of a clip. I'm just like, thanks, but what is this going to do in any realm? Like, how is this going to go viral? Or so essentially, TJ mentioned Bitcoin. That was enough for Rico to be like, I'm all about it.
He popped off.
Yes. So in case you missed it, check out this fever dream of an edit that Rico put together for TJ Miller and try to tell me what it means.
Let's get beef vegan on it. And I was like, I don't know, how is that going to work financially? And then I remembered I have.
It's on a ramp. He gets it. Yeah. He knows. I'm going to 100K, baby.
I'm having, it is going to go. It's going to go to 100 and 125 and 250. My bad!
Get those bags.
Stack sats.
Well, TJ, being on the producer, screenwriter.
Hot Sauce was doing so well. And the story behind that was I used to be the voice of the Mucinex burger. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know why that's funny. Okay. A lot of people get sick. I helped a lot of people who were sick.
Yes, you did.
Okay.
You saved lives.
Weirdo.
I'm sorry. All right, so yeah, we just played the fever dream clip that Rico put together for DJ Miller. And I'm still trying to understand what the hell. What I mean,
like it's great, and it's like this fever dream, and it's crazy, and Bitcoin, and all these things, and then cutting to you, kind of asking like a producer writer question.
Makes no sense. Nothing about the clip makes sense, and I know it took him at least 3 hours to put it together because all the special effects and it's wild. And if you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you follow Unreal Rico, and I actually shared it on my Instagram as well @BeefVegan. But I did it as professional courtesy because I appreciate my friend Rico, and when he gets inspired to do these clips. But it's one of those things where sometimes he's too smart for the room. And that was one of those situations where I'm like, what is this? I've been putting together little clips that set up punchline, joke, laugh, some personality clips where he mentions names and things like that. That's what I do. And sometimes they do very well online. Right. And then he's like, I'm going to spend 17 hours to make Oppenheimer, the 50-second TikTok reel, and mixed with Pink Floyd's The Wall, mixed with
explosions.
Yeah. The worst acid trip you ever had in your life. And throw it up there. And you're like, oh, okay. So we'll replay it at the end of the show. It's almost like your beef tip. But speaking of which, we got a lot to get to. We are live on the podcast broadcast. Got our viral video of the week that we're going to share with you. And when we return, we're going to talk about a man who claims he was abducted by aliens, but there's one flaw in his story. And I'll reveal what that is right after Beartooth. I Was Alive on Rock 102.1 KFMA. There's only one flaw in his I was abducted by aliens story where I'm like, you almost had me. I was almost like right there until you said this. I'll explain what this is and what's up, Taco, and what's up, Nick. Real quick, I'll share what Nick said this morning. Nick had one of the funniest calls this morning because we were talking about any tattoos that you regret on your body. And this is what Nick said about his tattoo. Rock 102.1, who's this?
Yo, it's Nick.
Nick, you got a tattoo that you regret?
2 of them. I have a grenade with a devil-ish lady on my arm that I regret, and then I regret putting a happy face on my butt cheek.
Well, why do you regret the happy face on your butt cheek? I mean, you don't get to see it, and anyone who does get to see it gets a chuckle out of it.
You lose a lot of when you're going for that one night, funness. Sometimes you lose it when they see that. It just doesn't, to them, it's like
No, I get it. Once you bend over, they lose their erection when they see the happy face.
Oh, God. What the?
Yeah, let that be a lesson. Don't set me up like that, man.
No, that was perfect.
Yeah, dude. I'm like, come on. That's if that's not like an invitation for a gay joke, I don't know what is.
Also, Nick, don't be ashamed of having a tattoo on your ass. I have one.
Yeah, what is yours?
It says Daddy's Princess.
Yes, it would.
With a crown.
It
and
would.
I got it done down on 4th Avenue at the tattoo station that was like right in the window of this joint. And with my little butt cheek hanging out. Yeah, I had an audience.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
I
was wild.
You are a wild girl. I want to share this. Okay, now we have fun with AI, AI imaging, AI utilizing our rap lyrics. Well, there looks like a burrito commercial put together an AI version for their commercial. Turned out to be the most metal and scariest commercial that you could ever see. And this is straight from the mind of AI. Check this out. Yep. I gotta do it like replay. Rock on 2.1 KFMA. This is the scariest AI burrito commercial we've ever seen in our lives, shared on the podcast broadcast. And I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it has gone viral. Mexican restaurant chain in Pennsylvania called Nito Burrito is getting some free publicity. And I'm not sure they want it, but someone's been experimenting with AI, made an unofficial ad for them. That's half commercial, half fever dream, and it's set to death metal. And they have like this
amazing.
fantastic. Yeah, I know that this is right up your alley, but you'll have to see it here.
How did they reject it?
Well, you know, again, it's super satanic. There's literally like you're seeing demons.
Okay, but if you got customers that didn't get the joke, you don't want them as customers.
Yeah, no, I don't know. They definitely want those customers, weirdo, because not everyone is like, you know, a fan of Satan and upside down crosses. So in Pennsylvania, I think they got a large Amish community, even though I don't know if Amish people are eating burritos. As a Pennsylvania burrito, so you know it's going to be garbage anyways. But yeah, it's amazing as far as an AI commercial is concerned. Just showing. I mean, there's a girl eating a burger.
Fever dream.
Yes, dude, it is nuts. And so AI, it's not all bad. Let's get into our top story of the day. Top story today is about a man who is claiming that he was abducted by aliens. Now, this happens a lot, right? It's not the first time a man has claimed to be abducted by aliens. In fact, if you're a fan of like the National Enquirer, this happens all the time.
Right. Every other day.
Yeah. Problem is some of the details of this man, it just he loses me at certain points. So you know, it starts off with, you know, him having being abducted, of course. And then once he was abducted, then weird things started happening. The aliens started experimenting on him sexually. Right?
Okay, as they would.
As they kind of would, but no, I mean, I'm beyond the probing. Okay, so it wasn't just about the probe, which is a classic alien abduction move, right? You think aliens are just basically into some just weird anal stuff, but that's not the case. So this man is from Missouri. His name's Julius Shields. He's 28 years old, and he is telling everyone that will listen about his mind-boggling story. And he appeared on YouTube recently talking about it. It started with like glowing orbs and creepy tentacle creatures tapping on his window one night, which gave him trippy dreams featuring gladiator-style arenas, teal blob monsters, and then got to some X-rated stuff. Now, he has a theory as to why aliens would abduct him in the first place. They were after his manly bodily fluid. Yeah.
Oh.
And the reason why they wanted that man juice was an effort to make hybrid babies. Okay. Now, here's the problem with this. I'm looking at a picture of Julius, and I feel like if aliens are coming from another nation, you know, intergalactic areas, given the specimens we have on this planet, we're talking like elite athletes, models, actors, musicians, scientists,
right?
Billionaires. You're talking like boom, 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 like creme de la creme, top 0.01% we have available on this planet as far as potential species that would be optimal mates for a hybrid.
Right.
If you wanted to procreate. This bearded guy with the beer belly and a balding hairline.
And ginger.
You know, I mean, like, with all due respect, he's not a terrible looking man, but not definitely one that you're like, if you're looking at an entire planet, you're like, who am I going to have babies with?
8 billion people.
Right.
Now, granted, I've asked myself that question about some of my ex-husbands, so it's fine.
Yeah, Julius, seen here in a black and white model shot, is still not, a 10. At the very best, he's a 7 if you're into bears, right? So, like, with that, there isn't much else going on.
Of course, he owns overalls.
Yeah, wearing overalls too. I mean, everything.
And a flannel.
Yeah, so the having this like weird. Basically, Julius went on YouTube and admitted to having sex dreams about aliens, which is some kinky stuff. And I could get behind that. You know, you can't control the sex dreams that you have. And if tentacles are involved, tentacles are involved. Tentacle porn is a thing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And maybe Julius was going down some rabbit holes on Pornhub before he fell asleep.
Right.
And he drank some NyQuil too. And this is what happened. So I guess this is a cautionary tale to be careful, like stay away from strange porn before or after you take NyQuil.
Yeah.
Because it will lead to fever dream-like hallucinations so vivid that you'll believe it actually happened, such as the case with Julius Shields.
Oh my God, that'd be such a cool warning label for NyQuil.
Yeah.
Please do not watch porn before or after you take this.
Yeah.
It's going to get weird.
I mean, if you watch porn, watch like regular porn, and then it's still going to get weird. But if you watch anything like tentacle related or anyone with tails or ears, it's going to get super strange super quickly. Julius is still trying to wrap his head around what happens and wonders if he got extraterrestrial offspring somewhere in a galaxy far, far away. And if that's the case, then I hope they hit him up for child support.
I was about to say, he looks like a dude that already doesn't pay child support.
Yeah.
You'll be fine, bro.
The story got super sad super quickly because you got a guy lonely in Missouri being like, I wonder if I have kids out there in a universe far, far away.
No, you got kids here now that you're not paying for.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but they're not alien. I don't care about those kids. So yeah, there you go. That's our top story. We're gonna keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We got more coming up right after this. Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, let's oh, Julius. But yeah, there you go. That's a fun experiment. So watch some weird porn. Then take a shot and a half of NyQuil. I suggest no more. All you need is a shot and a half.
Make sure you got that pad of paper and pen on your nightstand next to you. So right when you wake up, you can write it down. And then put that prompt into AI and see.
Dave took offense. Like large bearded ginger men are a commodity. Dave, you're a good looking man as well. I just wouldn't expect a different species from another planet far, far away to choose you to procreate with. You know, I think they would go with somebody like Chris Hemsworth. I think that's one. You know? Oh, real quick before I get back into another clip, here's a follow-up because I talked about Elizabeth Hurley and her unnatural relationship with her son.
I was thinking about this the other day.
Were you?
Yeah, I was.
Good.
Just randomly like, God.
Yeah, her latest interview, I've been promoting the film that she's in that actually features a sex scene directed by her son Damien. Doesn't do anything to make me disbelieve that this relationship is a little inappropriate at times. She said that when asked about the sex scene in the movie directed by her 21-year-old son, she said she actually enjoyed it. Here's the quote. Having him there meant that I felt safe and looked after. It's kind of liberating to work with your family. And she added, I'm relaxed in front of him, naked. He looks after me. I added naked. I'm just going to add naked at the end of every pause, okay? Because this is how weird it will sound if you just imply naked in there. I'll start from the top, okay? Having him there meant that I felt safe and looked after, naked. It's kind of liberating to work with your family, naked. She adds, I'm relaxed in front of him, naked. He looks after me, naked. It's relaxing knowing someone is behind the camera who looks out for you, naked. And so Damien made his directorial debut in Strictly Confidential, featuring his 58-year-old mom getting hot and heavy with actress Pear Shivera. And that's definitely a movie that this next man from Detroit would definitely want to see. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, we did this segment earlier this week, and it's called Solo Date Night. Check this out. 1KF, man. I thought this post that I saw from a friend on Instagram was a joke. I didn't think it was real at all until I came across this piece of Barstool, and I'm like, oh, this is Absolutely true. Now, have you heard of the movie? What's it called? I say Love Lies Bleeding.
The new Kristen Stewart movie.
Yeah, so it's Kristen Stewart movie. And it's based on a true story about a lesbian love affair involving a woman and a female bodybuilder, right? And it's very, I think it's an A24 film, but it looks artistic and looks very passionate.
Yeah.
And I could see the appeal as far as the erotic side of it, where like if you're watching it for like a date night, it might get you in the mood a little bit, or if as like a red-blooded male, you'd be like, man, that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
All right. Now I also understand that, it being an art film and, it's Kristen Stewart and they didn't really push that much into the marketing of it, that you can go see this in a movie theater and it could be an empty theater. Right.
Yeah.
So there was a Detroit man who basically went on a solo date night and came up with his game plan to have the ultimate self-love event. Right. Okay. Now, before you get into overthinking the term self-love, spoiler, self-love is involved. But I'm talking about he like treated himself like only a lonely man could. So
nice big soda, good popcorn.
No, we're gonna get into all this.
Oh.
Yeah. So you're assuming what he had, and you're missing the picture. You didn't see any of that. So there was no dune bucket involved. All right. This date night was essentially like a setup for like if you were with someone of the opposite sex, kind of like the same recipe. So there's pictures that make this go viral. And basically he was busted after he was watching the movie, self-pleasured, then passed out. Yes. And so then employees walked in when the movie's over, mind you, and they see this man passed out in his recliner chair in the movie theater with his pants pulled down and fully exposed. Yes. And there's an uncensored picture on Twitter and there's a censored picture. First, this is the screenshot you're going to see on the podcast broadcast, the movie shot of Kristen Stewart and her co-star in Love Lies Bleeding, which does look like a fantastic film. This is the picture that's gone viral of the man with his pants pulled down. Now, if you look closely, here is the accessories that made him enjoy his date night, self-love, and got him in the mood, which also helped him pass out and get busted. It looks like 2 small bottles of Fireball, to which one was still fully full. The other one drank about 2/3 of the way. There's a vape. There's a pack of Marlboro Reds. A couple cocktail glasses, and I think there's some weed accessories there. So basically a little crossfade. You got a crossfaded buzz.
Yeah.
Then the lesbian scene proved too much to handle to where he had to pull down his pants and, take care of the situation. And then once he did, in orgasmic bliss, once he had the rush of serotonin hit his dome, he passed out. Yeah. Now,
I mean, that does sound like a fantastic night at home, not in public.
That's the problem. It was in public. Now, of course, nobody was in the theater. And, I guess it's a bucket list for some people to get it on in the movie theater, but that usually includes another person with them.
Exactly.
Yeah. So the pictures are hilarious. And you're going to see that on the podcast broadcast where we're going to roast this guy. But again, it was such an outlandish story that I thought it wasn't real. I was like, there's no way.
No,
this is a real
welcome to
story.
2024. Of course, it's all real.
I guess. That's Joy Boy, actually. I've been a fan of Joy Boy for years. All right, let's get weird with Weirdo. Weirdo, I know that you got a bunch of weird news for us. So break it down for me, please.
So you have your daughter and I have my kids. Has your daughter ever been a picky eater?
What are you talking about? She's vegan. So yes, dude.
Okay.
And it's been ridiculous for the last couple of years. But to be honest, yeah, there's probably, she was picky before that. Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Okay. Yeah. So like my youngest is also a really picky eater.
Well,
but
you're a picky eater too. So
I mean,
she got it.
Yeah, because of diet restrictions.
Okay.
But yeah, anyway, but did you know that there is something called avoidant restrictive food intake disorder? So somebody who is picky to the extreme, like if they are asked to eat something else that they're not used to eating, it'll actually make them physically ill.
Okay.
Yeah. And there was a man in the UK that for 30 years, all he ate was potato waffles.
Potato waffles.
Yeah.
Are you talking like waffle fries?
No, they are actual waffles, like breakfast food.
Okay.
But they're made from potatoes.
Still sounds like waffle fries to me, but okay, continue.
So in the course of 30 years, he ate 65,000 of them.
Oh, damn. He reminds me of that guy with the super long mullet that has the world record for Big Macs. He's just like, it's a problem. You're addicted at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. And he said it started about the age of 5. And even his mom confirmed, like, yeah, just one day he was eating just fine. And then suddenly nothing. And he would only eat one meal a day that might include like a little bit of pork or steak. But otherwise, it was the potato waffles once a day. And he finally collapsed. And then his wife took him to the hospital. And that's where he was diagnosed with AFRID, Avoidant Restrictive Food Intake Disorder.
Oh, so you need a variety of fruits and vegetables, basically like the food scale that we grew up, watching and learning.
The pyramid.
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
God, I'm so stupid. So you need a balance for a healthy diet, and this guy went all potato.
Right. It was fruit, veggies, meat, you need all that stuff. So he eventually went to a cognitive behavioral hypnotherapist. And that's what helped him overcome this. And literally after like the third session, they put a plate of like pasta, salad, and other fruits and veggies, and he ate them with no problem.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. So it definitely worked out for him. But 65,000, like I love me a waffle. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, regular waffle.
Yeah.
Belgian. But these Irish waffles, they just sound like waffle fries. It's like, those are good too, but I don't know about every single day.
Yes.
So yeah, that's odd. And that's crazy. And so a hypnotist works again.
Yeah. And I'm one of those ones that I always hear about the hypnotist. I'm like, that's BS. It doesn't work. But apparently it does.
You need to go to a hypnotist to basically recorrect your brain to let you know that you don't really have IBS and all those issues. Be like, no, that's all in your head.
I don't think that's how it works.
I'm pretty sure maybe. I think that might be an imaginary problem.
Forget that I have this problem and then suddenly I'm sick all the time again. Yeah, sounds like a great idea.
I feel like the sick part was, is your brain making you sick because some kind of trauma.
No.
It's usually trauma based. Okay. I'm not a doctor. I know doctors, so. All right. Give me another weird story.
So this teenager, he's 17 years old, and he decided, hey, I'm going to go live on trains for the last year and a half.
Okay.
Like quite literally, this kid he has a coding job that he can do remotely, but he literally sleeps on the train and then he does his work during the day. He rarely gets off the train and he's exploring Germany.
Oh, okay. Well, so he's a hobo, modern day hobo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And it took, at first when he brought the idea up to his parents were like, what the hell? But after a while of convincing him, because again, in Europe, they get done with school at 16 and they have the choice of either going on to a scholar life or going on to a trade. And he decided, I'm going to live on a train and I'm just going to code from there. And he's just been exploring the entire country since.
Well, that's a modern day situation where a lot of people could work remotely. So they're not bound to any regular responsibilities like having to pay rent. So I'm sure it's cheaper to live on a train, right?
Yeah.
By big time. And then, and then you're a minimalist because you can't have too much, too many clothes. And
he just has his backpack. That is it.
I mean, it seems like it could be fun for a little bit. He's young.
Right. But a little bit. I mean, he started at 16. He's now 17. It's been about a year and a half. He travels 600 miles per day and has traveled more than 300,000 miles.
Yeah, but he's just going back and forth, right? So it's not like he's traveled all over the world. He's just going all over Germany. That's like us driving all over Arizona or on a train. It's like, hey, what are you doing today? Well, I'm working. The train's going to go to Flagstaff. Then I'll fall asleep. I'll wake up back in Tucson. All right, cool story, bro. Let's get back on the air. I got another story that I feel like is odd. And thank you for that comment there, Jeff. Yeah, definitely like away. And Anthony will address your prediction as well. Rock 102.1 KF, man. Welcome back to Be Vegan Presents. All right, so here's a top story that's still developing after years of speculation. Now, you follow Amanda Bynes, do you not?
Not in a few years.
Yeah. So Amanda Bynes, I'll recap for you. So, she rose to prominence as a child star. She was in the Lindsay Lohan movie. That was a good one about the Scarlet Letter or whatever the case. And she was in several movies. And then eventually over the past few years, she was having like mental breakdowns in and out of rehabs and mental health facilities, had a 5150 placed on her. And, it's a very scary time for Amanda Bynes. And of course, the mainstream media completely jumps on the bandwagon of tearing her down.
Right.
And, present company included. I've said some Amanda Bynes jokes in the past, and I feel bad about them now because really when you see these kind of like meltdowns, you really got to think about the origin of a mental health breakdown like this. And maybe there's years of trauma behind this breakdown. Now, being a Hollywood actor, young actor in Hollywood, has proven to be problematic over generations. And we've heard tons of horror stories. And unfortunately, they're not stopping anytime soon.
No, they are not.
Yes. Have you been following anything about this Dan Schneider situation?
Yes.
Okay. So Dan Schneider was the man at Nickelodeon. In fact, actually, everything in the 90s that you guys grew up watching and liking, like, what is it? Like All That?
All That, Drake and Josh. I mean, Amanda Bynes even had her own show.
Yes, Amanda Bynes had her own show. I'm not a fan of these things, but iCarly, all those shows. This fat ass was the showrunner, creator, producer, the man in Hollywood, and he would essentially create these shows. He'd be making all the money off it, and he would be the big boss. So if Dan didn't like you, you were not on that show, and vice versa. And he would there's tons of allegations now coming out, and there was just a documentary called Quiet on Set that just aired last night. It was the #1 trend on Twitter last night because of the revelations that were coming out about his behavior with these child actors throughout the 90s, and Amanda Bynes being a kind of a focal point. In fact, I'll show you an image on the podcast broadcast of Dan Schneider, and he'll be in a hot tub with Amanda Bynes. Now,
who was like 16 at
16 at the time. Another thing is he's fully clothed because, again, this guy is like 350 pounds, was always just like kind of a fat, gross dude. And the way that he would act around these child actors is strictly that of a predator. It's predatory behavior that anyone with a pair of eyes can see. Anyone with ears can hear. He would offer them alcoholic drinks, and if they try to turn it down, he would say, Amanda Bynes drinks with me. And, and he would do that. So there's video footage of this. Their uncomfortable relationship. Amanda Bynes seems super close to Dan Schneider. And of course, Amanda Bynes was the star of Nickelodeon, not only in She's All That, or I'm sorry, in All That, but then getting her own show. So if you were looking at like where there's smoke, there's fire. The reason why the allegations or the assumption that Dan Schneider may have prompted an inappropriate relationship with a 16-year-old Amanda Bynes is because everything that happened with Amanda Bynes' career on Nickelodeon. She was given the world, through all that. And, now in hindsight with all of these child actors, now we're still waiting from like prominent names like Ariana Grande, because a lot of people forget that she was a Nickelodeon actress as a minor. Yep. So she's had interactions with Dan as well. But many commenters recalled Schneider and Bynes being very close, including physically. And there was always some like creepy kind of like physical flirtation going on from this grown-ass 40-year-old obese man and this 16-year-old child actress. Now, again, these are all allegations and allegedly. But if you're going to assume based off of an adult's mental behavior and breakdowns,
right,
it would only lead to added speculation that there's a lot more that we don't even know yet, that we don't want to know. It's going to be disturbing details that are happening from this.
Right. And in this series, I mean, they're uncovering also like somebody like Drake Bell. Right. Yeah. He famously also kind of had these like really weird behaviors and meltdowns as an adult and everything. And he is coming out, and it was for him, it was Brian Peck, who was a producer. So this is not an isolated incident when it came to Nickelodeon in the 90s and 2000s.
Yeah.
It was rampant.
Yeah. And it's crazy too, because they're basically like a child actor factory. And it's so messed up that you're looking at the showrunners and you're like, was everyone that was in charge there? Did they all seize this position to be child predators? Or did they become child predators after being in this position? So
it's typically a vicious cycle. Like there is a start point that most people who become abusers as adults abuse themselves as children. It still doesn't excuse it, right? Like, go to therapy, get yourself taken care of. But that is the cycle that typically a lot of people get caught in.
Yeah, it's disgusting. So the dark side of Quiet on the Set, the dark side of kids TV. made these shocking claims about the toxic environment at the network, which is not a good look for Nickelodeon whatsoever. The scene in question, which is understood to be filmed in 2002, when Bynes was 16 years old, shows Schneider sitting next to the bikini-clad Bynes for a skit, which he wrote himself, when commenters started branding it as very uncomfortable. So when you watch the video, it is Amanda Bynes, clearly very young, wearing a swimsuit and a hot tub. Next to her is Dan Schneider, fully clothed. And he is kind of saying, I created this situation. I am the reason we are in this hot tub. I am pulling the strings. And maybe at the time, people viewed it as comedy, but now people think in retrospect, that it's implication. And
Right.
a lot of people are speculating that. So, and more details are starting to come out about Dan Schneider and that factory. It's gross.
Super gross.
Yeah. And, we're in a day and age, too, that even as an adult, when you have a friendly adult interaction, you have to do it respectfully and even ask for consent. The Rock, on the other hand, is being applauded by his public behavior while he was on the Drew Barrymore show. So currently he's on this media campaign, one for WrestleMania, but also to sell his male facial products, right?
Okay.
So he's getting in the beauty game. It's another product that he's shilling. He wants all the billions,
Yeah.
right? So he's on the Drew Barrymore show and he's having fun time with Drew, and Drew's dressed up like old school Rock, right? And
Nice.
yes. So when I say old school Rock, I'm talking about the Rock with the turtleneck, the gold chain, and the fanny pack.
Yeah.
Yes. And so at one point during the Drew Barrymore show, Drew asks if the Rock can squat her, right? Which, of course, obviously the dude's 275, strictly muscle, and he does. But this is what he says. Check this out.
Squats with me on your back.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. You want to do it now?
Can we?
Let's do it. You want to see it now?
Now, listen what he does.
Sorry, I scared Douglas. Okay, let's try. Maybe you could come up here. All right.
That's what I do to my kids. I'm like, you want to ride? Get up on the thing.
I say that too on Friday nights on date night. You want to ride? Get up on that thing. Okay, so I'm going to grab you here and I'm going to put my arm in there. I'm going to put you on my shoulders. Is that cool?
Like a fireman.
Like a fireman's carry, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, cool?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
He does. But see, there you go. So he tells Drew Barrymore where he's going to touch her and then asks if that's cool. Now, it's very, like, a lot of people on the surface, if you're watching this, you probably didn't even recognize it. But the internet definitely did.
Right.
And they're applauding him for doing that. Because even though this is obviously in front of everybody, this is on national television, she's asking to be squatted, there was still a certain consideration that you got to do to say, hey, do I have the consent to even physically touch you?
Right. Well, because most people wouldn't think, but like a fireman's carry, like his upper arm and shoulder is like in her crotch.
Yeah.
So like that is something where he is like, and also that kind of also shows him, because he has trained other wrestlers too, that like he knows how to explain these different holds and carries and everything, because yeah, if you do it wrong, it can go badly very quickly.
I don't think he was that concerned about that. I think, but it was the face of saying, okay, this is the deal. And do I have permission to physically touch you to do this bit that you asked to do? And which she said yes. And then he easily squatted her and she orgasmed 3 times. But, but with consent, of course. All right, let's keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We got more coming up right after this. Rock 1 2.1. I had to make that funny somehow. I'm like, wait, you take a nice moment. We're like, oh, okay, yeah, this is very sweet, pretty sweet. Like, she just so hard, man. Like, whoa, where did she go there?
Well, I do appreciate the fact that she like jumped up a little, like he needed help.
You know what? She's
off the couch.
She's done some WWE events in the past, so she's an old pro. Don't. I mean, it's probably not the first time she dressed up as The Rock. Drew Barrymore doing her talk show. All right. Earlier this morning, we did our morning moron. It was a doozy of a morning moron. A woman was so drunk she confused these two things, and I feel like the fact that she confused these two things should have given her a pass and not got arrested for DUI. If this is body cam age, I feel like she would have got out of the DUI because the way she reacted to this question. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll fill you in with this morning moron. Check it out. right? The last you saw Wolfgang Van Halen, he was performing at the Oscars for I'm Just Ken and Ryan Gosling, right? I try to recall it, but at the same time, like, not necessarily a fan. I do like the song though. It's a catchy song.
It is a catchy song.
And the only reason why I really like it is because I watched the SNL parody version, I'm Just Pete, way before the Barbie version, because I didn't watch Barbie in theaters. So when that song came out, I was like, man, this song slaps. Like, that's a good arrangement and pretty catchy. And of course, it's funny. Pete Davidson singing about problems of being Pete Davidson. That's hilarious. And, I really enjoyed the arrangement. And then I watched the Barbie movie and I was like, man, they ripped off Saturday Night Live. These guys. I'm Just Pete. Obviously, they must be big fans. All right. Well, anyways, it's 6:15. Time for your morning moron. Let's do this. All right, Weirdo, let me ask you a question. Have you ever gotten so drunk where you confuse blowing with sucking?
Oh, no, I don't think so.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You always know which is which and how to do it?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. Well, You're not a morning moron.
Oh, okay, sweet.
I do have a story of a 52-year-old woman in England who got confused between the two when she was pulled over and had alcohol on her breath. So they breathalyzed her, and she made it more complicated than necessary. So the cop explained that she needed to blow steadily for a few seconds. So they give her the straw to blow on and the breathalyzer.
Yeah.
And she just deep throats that straw. She's like, rah! Like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Ma'am.
Yeah, no. You're doing it wrong. Okay, now blow this straw. And she's like, no, I got it. Go, 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 go. I'm like, whoa. Again, I'm going to ask you slowly so you can understand, because I feel like you might be intoxicated. I'm going to give you this breathalyzer straw. You need to blow it. It's like, yeah, I'm going to blow it.
Exhale.
Yeah, right? She got confused. So she asked him, do I blow in or out? This is how you know you're drunk, right? And then immediately the cop should have been like, well, you failed.
Yeah.
As soon as you ask a question like that, you know what? Actually, blow out. Or no, blow in. Let me see you blow in. Let's see how that works. And he asked, actually, how do you blow in? That's sucking. And her next question was, am I sucking in or out? I'm like, oh my God.
Jesus, woman, you're at least 3 times the legal limit.
Yeah. Like, okay, why don't you suck out then? Show me how you suck out. He told her to pretend like she was blowing up a balloon, and she understood that. And then she stopped early, so they had to do it again. She eventually blew 4 times the legal limit.
Whoa.
Yeah, she was wasted. That happened in January, but the news is that it's in the news now because she got sentenced to 18 months probation, 120 hours community service, and has also been asked out by every deputy on the force. It's also her 4th DUI, so she lost her license until 2027, which is probably a good thing. She was so drunk, she was driving on the right side of the road. But this is in England.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I did catch that.
Okay, good. All right. So, when you get so drunk and you ask, do I blow in? You know you're a morning moron. So,
well, and the fact it's going to be in a British accent, too.
Okay. Yeah. Give me a like her best impression.
No.
Yeah. You got it.
All right, fine. Do I blow in?
There you go. Nice. And then ask if you suck out.
Do I suck out?
You do now. Yeah. There you go. That was our morning moron. It's a pretty hot morning moron, to be honest with you.
Do we have a mugshot on that chick?
No, unfortunately, I know. She's 52. It was in England, so they don't put their criminals on blast like we do publicly. It is
rude.
Unfortunate. I know. I got Robbie and Jose. They want to battle it out as far as the prize pig battle of the death here. They want to see who's the ultimate prize pig as far as being able to win these games. So I do have to put together the games. They both emailed me, so it's just good. I got to get back to them, and we'll probably do that this week. And even throw in a couple more regulars who like to go in for the all-time the goat of the pig, if you will.
The goat of the pig.
The goat of the pig, the prize pig. I say that in the nicest way. Yes. Let's see. Now, real quick, I'm going to scroll up. Aaron, our Tucson car guy, he messaged me last night. I got a lot of pictures from the Roadrunners game, which a weirdo was a hungry human, and he got crotched by her husband in front of the crowd.
Oh my God, I don't understand what happened.
Yeah, so I was getting a lot of pictures last night from people out in attendance, which was cool. And it was weird too, because it's like when it rains, it pours. So like on Saturday night, I didn't get any pictures of myself sent to me. But on Sunday, I got a bunch of people just being like, here's the back of you. I'm like, oh, nice.
Oh,
and actually, I'll put them all together in a story. I do appreciate those pictures. But Aaron just busted my balls because first off, we don't have the slingshot right now. Normally, Dusty has a slingshot where we're slingshotting T-shirts. Right.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why is because Dusty doesn't have an arm. Dusty can't throw T-shirts for shit. But apparently neither can I. And I actually know that. And there was a reason why I can't. But Aaron was giving me shit because my T-shirt didn't go that far. Now, Dusty's reason is because Dusty's a woman. Okay. And she wasn't an athlete per se. So like immediately once I saw how far she could throw a T-shirt, I was just like, we got to fix this. We got to get a slingshot. But the problem is over the weekday games when I wasn't working and I didn't know this, the slingshot broke while they're on the ice. And it hit my friend Hannah in the head and like concussed her, like fucked her up.
Oh no.
I know. I felt really bad about that. But so I knew this was going to happen, though. Eventually, the slingshot was going to break. So I told Ryan, our manager, like, hey, you need to order another slingshot. And he's like, well, we got one. And I'm like, no, you need a backup one because this is inevitably going to break, right? So it's better to have it, not need it.
Yeah.
They need it, not have it.
Right.
I'm trying to teach these kids. So he did. He listened. And then they put it in storage. So once this broke, they were looking for a slingshot. And they couldn't find it.
Oh, no.
So it's missing. And they're like, well, maybe we misplaced it. And I was like, no, someone probably stole it. And they're like, why would they steal the slingshot? I'm like, why would they not steal a slingshot? Like, if I'm like a dude in my 20s and I see this badass slingshot, you're like, fuck yeah, I'm going to steal this because who knows what I can slingshot? I can slingshot beers across the lake.
Yeah.
The thing is amazing. And it's only like $30 on Amazon. Right. So anyways, while we're in the process of getting a new slingshot, we have to resort to old school methods, throwing it. And the excuse is the way I look at it optimistically is saying all year round, all year long, we've been slingshotting these T-shirts up into the upper deck. So the section 100 guys were never getting T-shirts. So now we're hooking up the section 100 guys.
Yeah, because you just kind of weep.
Because we can't go farther than 3 rows.
You just got to make it over the glass.
Yeah. But Aaron busted my balls because my throw didn't go deep in there. Well, I didn't do an overhand throw. And every time I try to throw this, I have this earpiece connected to me with this big like walkie-talkie. Yeah. And it gets in the way of my throwing arm. It's on my right-hand side. So when I do this, I always fuck myself up. I always hurt myself. And so I even did it underhand and it yanks the thing out like somebody's pulling my ear. Yeah, and he gets in the way. And so, and then I don't want to do it overhand like Steve Young style, which is a random quarterback to mention, but because I'm on ice, dude.
Right. I was actually, I'm born and raised Tucson and I don't know anything about ice. And I was like, oh my God, we're going to go on the ice and I'm going to fall on my ass.
Right.
Because it's slick.
Yeah, it is slick, especially when you're in a throwing motion and you're wearing flats. Like my shoes they're not gripping shoes.
Right.
And I don't wear any kind of ice shoes to kind of keep my grip. Now, if I had what the cameramen have on their feet when they walk on the ice, which essentially is like cleats.
Yeah.
To prevent them from slipping, then yes, I would haul back and I would, bomb them, but I don't. And I'm not going to like injure myself trying to get it to you in the cheap seats. You know what I mean?
Get better seats next time.
Yeah. The slingshot's fun though. It's super fun. So we're going to have that back by the next games and don't worry about that. So, and the best part about that is it literally gets to everywhere.
No, it was a lot of fun. I don't think I've been to a hockey game since I was in like junior high. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah.
I had a good time seeing you, and you almost won hungry human.
Almost.
Yeah. Well, at least you got close. Yeah, at least you got groped. So I guess that's a win.
It's okay. I know the dude.
Yeah. You consent. You married him. So
no, at one point, my husband and I went to go to the bathroom.
We got 3 seconds.
Oh, okay.
You can tell this quick story on here. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Last night, Weirdo and her family were at the Roadrunners game. You were telling me this story. So what?
Yeah. So my husband and I went to the bathroom, and I come out of the bathroom. He's just standing there waiting for me, and I'm just like, "Hey, you want to go home with me?" You know, trying to do those cheesy pickup lines you do with your partner or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, sounds great. Do you have a big bed?" I was like, "Yeah, but 2 other people sleep in it."
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So just be warned. And actually, you know what? Do you snore? We don't have enough snoring. And he's like, "Actually, I had a machine for that, and I just threw that in the trash. So I'll snore all night for you, baby." And I love those cute little interactions with my partners.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, it is very, very sweet. But yeah, we had a great time. The boys loved it. Oh my God, my youngest was like, "I got to meet Dusty," and he was like, "Meet, like all over the place."
I
It was
know.
good.
Yeah. It's always fun. I encourage everyone to bring out the family, especially the kids. And I'll send my buddy Dusty over to give him high fives, take pictures together, and all that stuff. It's funny too because I was talking to one of my coworkers, and they were talking about potentially exploring an open relationship. And I like pointed out, I'm like, "See the first row right there? They're all banging."
Oh my God. And we left a few minutes early, so we had missed the kiss cam, like as we were walking out, and both me and my girlfriend just looked at each other like, we would have made this whole arena feel super awkward.
That would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
It would have been so good.
It wouldn't be the first lesbian kiss, but they're always amazing when they are.
It would have been me and my girlfriend kissed, and me and my husband kissed, and her husband kissed.
God
and
damn it. Yeah, I should have like saw that coming.
Right. And then
could've-
just my husband and boyfriend high-fiving.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And the song that they played is actually my boyfriend and girlfriend's wedding song too.
Okay.
So they had a little sweet moment where he's like, "Hey, do you recognize this song?" She's like, "Oh, stop."
See, that's damn. Oh,
that could have been so good. We'll come to another game.
Look, here's the deal. We just went on a 5-game home winning streak. We did the last 4 in a row. We're looking good as we approach the playoffs. And this team hasn't won a Calder Cup, but we want to, which is essentially like the Stanley Cup version of the AHL. So we are getting closer to playoffs. It looks like we could have home games if we continue this to keep this momentum up. We're currently second place or tied for first place in the division. So it's looking really good. If we do playoffs, then we got an idea, and we're definitely going to have the most epic kiss cam. And it's one that I'll probably have to get someone to film so it could go viral on social media. Not TikTok, though, because apparently that's being taken away from us.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. We'll be back with your beef tip after these words. Rock 102.1 KFMA. Yeah, that would have been epic, where you both kiss your husbands, and then you turn and then you start making out with each other while the husbands high five. What? That would be amazing. Oh my God.
Well, and I can so when we've gone to like sporting events or other things, we're not gross with our PDA, but like we'll peck each other when we're like walking away, whatever. But like I always am curious to be like, did anybody behind us catch this? And what were their thoughts of like, wait, did I just see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they definitely saw that too. All about it, for sure.
It's entertaining sometimes.
It is. Yeah, I'm always a fan. All right, earlier this morning, I talked about almost getting into a fight with a homeless man. In case you missed it, it went a little something like this. Check it out. Lincoln Park on Rock 102.1 KFMA. I feel like there's unwritten rules in society that we kind of all abide by. And I think, even with this homeless situation and issue that's plaguing America and Tucson especially, there was still a bunch of unwritten rules that they kind of, adhered to. So it wasn't too much of a situation that you would get yourself into with different people who were misplaced from homes. Is the best way to say it.
Right.
I'm trying to be like as tiptoey and PC as possible.
Yeah.
But recently I've been noticing a growing trend that's kind of concerning, and that's homeless people at the drive-through, approaching cars while they're ordering. So
they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're pretty much held hostage to the situation. I mean, it's, like one thing when you're pulling up to a stoplight and they're on the corner and they attempt to do this, but these are people that are approaching cars while they have their windows down about to order and then hitting them up. Now, this has happened to me several times on my way to work when I'm picking up a coffee.
Yeah.
And it's way too early for somebody to come up to my car. I'm already I'm infuriated at this point, and my defenses are there. So you're not going to get anything from me.
Right.
Except for like my rolling up my window real quick. And And it's a very dangerous thing to do too, because obviously Arizona, we're right to bear arms, not only in this country, but in this state for sure. You could have it concealed, and it's like, don't approach somebody's vehicle like that, especially when it's in the middle of the night, or early in the morning. So this is happening. This is problematic, and I know there's going to be more problems from that. But what I saw over the weekend was one of the most obscene rule-breaking situations in a drive-thru that I've ever saw in my life. I was in a drive-thru at McDonald's, okay? And say they have one of those dual drive-thrus, right? So I order, and I'm like pulling up. As I'm pulling up, I see a homeless man walking across my car, right? Like in front of my car. And so I was like, oh, here we go. Now, luckily, he walked past my car. I was like, okay, cool. Then he went to the car behind me who was about to place their order. He stood in front of the speaker as they're attempting to order their food, right? And hit him up.
That's a bold move, Cotton.
Yeah, man. And I'm like, whoa, you don't do that. No. Now, first off, we're driving through a fast food restaurant. We're one missed paycheck away from joining you, right? So I don't want to say a little consideration. It's a very difficult thing because I want to be empathetic of a situation. Right. But at the same time, this guy, his audacity, the balls on this guy, made me, not like him as a person. So anyways, I'm seeing this in my rearview mirror, and I'm like, this son of a bitch, literally blocking the speaker, trying to hold this person hostage. And he wasn't asking for food. He was asking for money, but he was trying to sell something. And again, it's like, dude, now you can't open up business. I can't open up shop in a drive-thru and sell T-shirts, right? Or any kind of other food. I can't go to Chick-fil-A and say, hey, my chicken sandwiches are better. You want a cheaper chicken sandwich while in the drive-thru in front of the speaker. You can't do that.
No, you cannot.
But for whatever reason, in Tucson, I guess that's allowed. So I'm seeing this whole thing go down. I pull up to the window where you're supposed to pay. So I give this teenage girl, my debit card. As soon as I give the debit card, this man comes up to my window, right? So now he's in between my debit card and the window and myself.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So now he could just take my debit card or he's doing that, right? So and it's freaking out the teenage worker. These kids don't know what to do in this situation.
Right. Because they could just reach in too, because the register's right there.
Yeah, you don't walk up to a window, period. And that's already I'm surprised the cops weren't called on this guy hours before I was in this situation. And I'm already mad, right? And so he comes up to me and he's like, hey man. And he busts out 3 payday candy bars. He's like, would you like 3 paydays for $1? And I'm like, what? First off, it's breakfast time. I'm getting breakfast. And I'm like, nah, man, I don't want any pocket candy. Right?
Yeah.
It's like those paydays are all melted too. It's gross. And he's like, yeah, just from the CVS. I'm like, yeah, I understand the CVS is right here. And if it was that easy for you to be able to steal those candy bars and you walk in and nobody's watching you, then I go in there and I'll steal a whole box of stickers. I don't need you. Right? I can get 100%. I get the 5-finger discount too.
Right? You're like, I can cut out the middleman.
Yeah, dude. They're not. The fact that you can even get it, walk out that door, and they're just like, well, it's just paydays. We'll just allow it.
And for sure he stole them because candy bars are $2 or $3 a pop now.
100% he stole
and
it.
And 3 for $1.
No, he basically told me he stole it from the CVS and the location. So, but I was like, no, I don't want your pocket candy. But I'm feeling generous. I want to give him something so it gets out of my face. So I have this in and out double card, right? That we give out at the Roadrunners games. I always get a couple extra just to give out to, the people in that situation. You hungry? Here you go. Yeah. Double. So I was like, well, actually, here, take this. And he's like, what the hell is this? And he's indignant. And I'm like, it's a double from In-N-Out. He's like, I don't know where the hell that is. I don't live around here. And I was like, really? Because it looks like you live right here. What are you talking about? You don't live around here. This is your home. Wherever you sleep, that's where you live.
Right.
Go a mile south, son.
And then there's the In-N-Out. Not that difficult.
I'm sorry. Is your schedule too busy selling pocket candy to strangers in the drive-thru? And so this guy, Sorry, I had to end that. We're back here live. That was Sid and Nancy from No Effects. We're gonna wrap things up here with a beef tip, and I'd like to thank everyone for listening. And as always, you can check out the replay of today's podcast broadcast by subscribing youtube.com/beefvegan. We're only live streaming on YouTube for the time being because I'm currently banned on Facebook. Thank you, Facebook. All right, here's the beef tip. When trying to get a healthy drink, avoid naked juices. Yeah, the naked juices, right? You ever have those?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, from the site Eat This, Not That, they just rank the unhealthiest drinks that pack the most sugar. And the top 2 spots were those naked juices you see in the grocery store.
Over soda.
Over soda.
Wow.
Over Monster Energy drinks. In fact, the Naked Mango, Mighty Mango has 57 grams of sugar.
Jesus.
While the Naked Blue Machine Juice has 55 grams of sugar. A Monster Energy drink, double the size, 54 grams of sugar.
Wow.
Yes. So as much as those naked juices look like they're the healthy option, they actually aren't. And that is your beef tip. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show. Be back tomorrow morning to continue to give away a ton of tickets. Till then, Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe. And as always, rock local. Later.
When you wish upon a side of beef, soon
Thank you
will
guys, as
come
always. You're
and
amazing.
end to all your
Weirdo, thank you
grief.
for putting your clothes back on
But
for the
if
stream.
you've
You're
been
welcome.
mean or kind
All
of
right, now the
bad,
show's over, so go
I
ahead
will
and
knock
take it
out
back off.
all your teeth.
God, why do you